All right, welcome back to Getting Sober, again. My name is Jay, and today we're gonna bust some myths about alcohol use. But first, if you care about your own sobriety journey as much as we do, we have hundreds of videos on the topics of sobriety and self-improvement. So make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. All right, let's get started. So I think it's safe to say that we've all heard a ton of myths about alcohol use over the years. Can you beat a breathalyzer? Can you mask the smell of alcohol? And what are some of the unconventional myths about sobering up? And by the way, before we get started, what are some of the myths about alcohol that you've heard over the years? Comment down below. All right, well, let's get right into it. Myth: putting a penny in your mouth confuses a breathalyzer. Fact: pennies or any metal objects have no effect on breathalyzer readings since they don't alter alcohol levels in the blood or in the lungs. And I'm willing to bet that if you got pulled over with a mouthful of pennies, I can safely project that you're probably gonna be spending the night in the drunk tank. Myth: eating mustard or garlic eliminates alcohol from your breath. Fact: garlic or mustard will give you terrible breath, but it won't mask alcohol exhaled through the lungs. Myth: holding your breath, blowing lightly, or hyperventilating tricks a breathalyzer. Fact: modern breathalyzers are designed to detect the consistency of breath flow and will give accurate readings regardless of blowing strength. How about this myth? Mouthwash hides alcohol from a breathalyzer. Fact: some mouthwashes like Listerine contain up to 27% alcohol. And here's something I bet you didn't know. Using mouthwash within 2 minutes of a breathalyzer test can actually trigger a higher BAC reading. And to prove this, we're gonna conduct that exact experiment. So I have two props here with me. I have the purple Listerine mouthwash, which is alcohol-based mouthwash, coming in at 21.6% alcohol. And I have the BACtrack C6 Keychain breathalyzer with professional grade accuracy. So let me show you how this portable breathalyzer works. And no, they're not sponsoring this video, but I will put the link to this BACtrack C6 breathalyzer in the video description down below. Because after all, it might make a great stocking stuffer for those friends of yours who still drink, especially if they're thinking about stepping behind the wheel of an automobile. And who knows, you might end up saving their life or somebody else's. So all we have to do here is press the top button and allow this little breathalyzer to warm up. It takes about 10 seconds and it'll give you a countdown timer. You see that? 4, 3, 2, 1. And all we have to do is blow at a steady pace until the long beeping stops. Here, let me show you. All right, so now it says calculating. You see that? It says calculating. So we wait about 5 seconds or so, and then you'll have your reading. We'll just wait for the reading to come up so we can see that it says 0.000% BAC. We're actually gonna do multiple readings to show you how much mouthwash can affect your breathalyzer results. So first, let me start my stopwatch. I'm gonna show you this over a span of about 2 minutes, and don't worry, I'll be fast forwarding the video so you don't have to wait and watch for me to blow into the breathalyzer each and every time, all right? So here we go. I got the timer started, and I'm gonna do the mouthwash here. Real quick, bear with me. I'm gonna fast forward. Okay, so I just got done spitting the mouthwash out. So I'm gonna start up this breathalyzer, and I actually did this test earlier. And the first thing that I noticed when I first did it, right after swishing with the alcohol-based mouthwash, is that the reading went off the chart. So let me see if I can replicate that result. Okay, so it shows calculating. And so it says error, like last time, and here let's read it together. Max BAC exceeded. Isn't that crazy? The max BAC is exceeded, which I don't even know what that number is. So we're gonna give this an extra couple of seconds. I'll fast forward, I know, don't worry. I'm gonna show you, because imagine if you got pulled over and a cop says, hey, let me, have you been drinking tonight? And then you say, no, I haven't been drinking, like we maybe all have at some point. And then they say, okay, well, would you mind taking a breathalyzer test? And then you reluctantly maybe say yes. Well, maybe you carry a little bit of mouthwash in your glove box or whatever, and then the officer walks back to their car, and then maybe you're trying to think quick on your feet and you want to try to discreetly get some mouthwash in your mouth, and then maybe they come back a minute or two later, and then now you've got this alcohol-based mouthwash, Listerine or whoever. I'm not trying to pick on Listerine, but that's what you end up using. So let me show you. Now it's been, since I started my stopwatch, it's been 2 minutes and 30, well, you can't see it, but 2 minutes and 30 seconds or so. So let me start this bad boy back up, press the button on the top. And now it's been probably a minute and a half since I took that first reading. We're in the countdown timer there, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it'll say blow. And then, so that waits about 6 seconds. So it says calculating. Let's see if I can get that on the screen, focus. All right, calculating. Look at that, 0.12 is the BAC reading, 0.12. And what is the legal limit? The legal limit is 0.08. Isn't that crazy? So if you ended up using mouthwash like I just did, going from completely sober to just using mouthwash, you will have effectively blown over the legal limit on a breathalyzer. Isn't that crazy? And just for good measure, let me show you one more time. I'm gonna do the breathalyzer after it's been about 45 seconds since the last one. Bear with me, fast forward. All right, so we're calculating. Let me show you up on the screen there. And so now my stopwatch says 4 minutes and 11 seconds since we started this experiment. And I am at 0.073 BAC. And that's from a completely sober person. Now imagine if you just had 1 drink in your system or 2 drinks in your system. You've been out for an hour or 2. Well, if you've been out for 2 hours and you had 2 drinks, you still have 1 unit of alcohol in your bloodstream on top of then that mouthwash that you just put in your mouth. So what do we learn there? We learned that mouthwash will absolutely not be a breathalyzer, and it'll actually make your results much worse. All right, let's get back to some more alcohol myths. Myth: you can't get intoxicated from beer as quickly as wine or liquor. Fact: standard servings of beer, wine, and liquor have equivalent alcohol content. So your body doesn't know the difference between 3 beers in 1 hour versus 3 glasses of wine in 1 hour or 3 shots of tequila in 1 hour. And also keep in mind too, there are a lot of strong beers out there, especially if you're ordering a double IPA or a triple IPA. Some of these beers have a 7% ABV, 8% ABV, or a 9% ABV, or maybe even higher. And if you're at a bar at a restaurant getting served an entire pint, that's 2 to 3 units of alcohol inside of 1 glass. Okay, next myth: it's safe to drive after drinking if you feel okay. Fact: alcohol impairs coordination even when you don't feel drunk. And just because you don't feel intoxicated doesn't mean that you'll pass a breathalyzer test. But of course, for those of you that are still cutting back on your alcohol use, I know that not everybody here is completely sober. You can get the portable breathalyzer that we just talked about. Remember, I put the link in the video description down below. And if you want to buy that again on Amazon, I'll also put the link in the top corner of the screen. And speaking of breathalyzers, what about this myth? You can't get a DUI if you blow below the legal limits. Incorrect. The fact is, you can still be charged with impaired driving even if you're under the legal limit. And especially too, if you're under the influence of drugs or even too sleepy. Some states can charge you with operating a vehicle while impaired if you're too tired to drive. Myth: your body can process more alcohol if you build a tolerance. Fact: your body can only process 1 standard unit of alcohol per hour regardless of tolerance levels. Myth: energy drinks can sober you up. Fact: mixing alcohol with stimulants like caffeine only mask intoxication without decreasing its risks. Myth: alcohol addiction develops only after years of drinking. Fact: binge drinking can lead to dependency even in just a short period of time. Myth: only heavy drinking causes hangovers. Fact: even small amounts of alcohol can still cause hangovers. Myth: hangovers mean that your body's detoxing. Fact: hangovers are a sign of dehydration and inflammation. Myth: drinking water eliminates a hangover. Fact: water only helps to rehydrate. It doesn't actually remove alcohol or the harmful toxins from your system. How about this myth? Eating a large meal before bed cures a hangover. Fact: food does slow absorption, but it doesn't prevent hangovers. Myth: alcohol improves mental health by reducing anxiety. Fact: alcohol worsens anxiety and depression over time. Myth: alcohol helps to reduce emotional stress. Fact: alcohol increases stress and emotional issues long term. Myth: alcohol improves sleep quality. How many of you subscribe to that whole "I need a drink before bed, otherwise I can't sleep"? Well, the fact is, alcohol disrupts sleep cycles, particularly REM sleep. Did you know that REM sleep is associated with better mental health, memory, learning, brain repair, and immune system health. All right, let's check out our next myth. Alcohol only affects the liver. Fact, alcohol also affects the brain, heart, kidneys, pancreas, colon, stomach, skin, eyes, bones, your immune system, and it increases your risk of diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, and dementia. Myth, red wine is heart healthy. Fact, you would need to consume an unhealthy amount of red wine, 100 to 500 glasses to be more specific, to benefit from the antioxidant effects of resveratrol found in red wine. If you ask me, that doesn't sound very heart healthy. Myth, vomiting removes alcohol from your system. Fact, vomiting removes what's in your stomach, but not what's already absorbed into your bloodstream. Here's a fact about alcohol absorption. Did you know that about 20% of alcohol is absorbed into the bloodstream through the stomach, with the other 80% being absorbed through the small intestine? So in short, vomiting cannot remove alcohol that's already absorbed into the bloodstream. Make sense? And also too, that's why it's so dangerous to drink on an empty stomach, because as we mentioned earlier, food slows down the absorption of alcohol into the bloodstream. So if you did find that you were sick and you needed to vomit, the alcohol that was still in your stomach, because there was food present, would slow it down from being passed into the small intestine. When you don't eat food or drink any beverages that have caloric content like diet sodas, the alcohol passes straight through from the stomach into the small intestines and then even faster into the bloodstream. All right, next myth, only heavy drinkers experience alcohol withdrawal. Fact, even moderate drinkers can experience withdrawal symptoms. Myth, cold showers can sober you up. Fact, showers do not speed up alcohol metabolism. Only time does. Myth, coffee helps you to get sober. Fact, coffee only makes you more alert, not less intoxicated. I actually remember learning this when I went to college during freshman orientation. They talked about kind of alcohol safety, how much alcohol is processed by the body. And one of the facts that they stated was that one of the things you could do to sober up was to drink coffee. Myth, exercise eliminates alcohol faster. Fact, only time can remove alcohol from your system, as the liver can only process 1 unit of alcohol per hour. Myth, sweating removes alcohol from your body. Fact, alcohol is metabolized by the liver, not through sweat. Myth, drinking milk, eating bread, or eating greasy foods before alcohol reduces intoxication. Fact, any drinks or foods will slow down alcohol absorption, as we stated earlier, but it doesn't prevent intoxication. Myth, activated charcoal reduces alcohol's effects. Fact, charcoal has no effects on alcohol in the bloodstream. Myth, alcohol breath can be masked by mints. Fact, alcohol is exhaled through the lungs, so mints only temporarily mask the odor in your mouth. All right, here's one that I always thought was true. Myth, drinking the next morning cures a hangover. I know personally I used to swear by this one, but the fact is drinking more delays recovery and worsens symptoms. Myth, sports drinks like Gatorade cures hangovers. Fact, they help with hydration, but do not reduce alcohol's toxic effects. Myth, vitamin C cures hangovers. Fact, antioxidants like vitamin C may help general recovery and inflammation, but they do not cure hangovers. Myth, drinking lighter colored alcohol like gin or vodka prevents hangovers. Fact, alcohol quantity, not clarity, is the main factor in hangovers. However, there is truth to the fact that darker alcohols contain congeners, which are the toxic byproducts that leads to worse hangover symptoms. And congeners are typically found in brandy and cognac and rum and whiskey, bourbon, rye, aged tequilas, and also too in red wine. Myth, napping cures hangovers. I know I definitely had some 2 or 3 nap days after having a hangover. But the fact is, sleep helps recovery and helps to pass time, but napping alone won't cure a hangover. Myth, avoiding alcohol for a few days prevents hangovers. Fact, regular heavy drinking leads to hangovers even if you take breaks from drinking. All right, we only have a few more left on the list. Myth, alcohol warms you up. Fact, alcohol can give you a temporary sensation of warmth, but lowers your body temperatures overall. And last but not least, our final myth. Non-alcoholic beer is completely alcohol-free. Incorrect. The fact is, non-alcoholic beers can contain small amounts of alcohol. Non-alcoholic beers can't be completely alcohol-free because of the brewing and fermentation process. So, which of these alcohol myths did you always stand by? Were you the pickle juice person? Were you the Gatorade person? Or the nap person like I was? Or maybe the drinking more the next morning? Or God forbid, were you the person that found out the hard way that mouthwash makes breathalyzer results worse? And what other alcohol myths do you know about that you didn't see on the list? And last question, how many of you are glad that none of this applies to you anymore now that you're sober? Tell us what you think by leaving us a comment in the comment section down below. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to show your support for everybody here in this sobriety community by giving this video a thumbs up. And speaking of support, if you want to help to support this channel and get your free Getting Sober Again mug, then please support our Patreon by clicking the link in the top corner of the screen. And with that, I want to wish you good luck on your self-improvement journey, and I will see you in the next video.
If you want to see another one of our videos, click here.